If you are one of the chosen, then you've already felt it. That quiet tension in the air, that invisible weight on your shoulders, that subtle, relentless pressure to hide who you truly are, or worse, to explain yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. The truth is, being chosen doesn't always come with applause. More often, it comes with resistance. And not just from the world around you, but from unseen forces that recognize the light you carry even when you don't. You were born set apart. And whether you've embraced it or spent your life trying to fit in, the time has come to stop playing small. Because the more visible you become, the more vulnerable you are to the kind of attacks that don't leave bruises on your body, but bruises on your soul. This world is loud, but you were designed to move in quiet power. The insights you've received, the wounds you've survived, the strength you've cultivated, these were never meant for public display. They are sacred. And if you don't protect what's sacred, it will be profaned. As C.S.Lewis once wrote in the Screwtape Letters, the truth is, of course, that what one regards as interruptions are precisely one's life. What you've called distractions, the strange dreams, the inner discontent, the sudden silence from people you once trusted, they were never random. They were warnings, invitations, divine whispers to begin guarding your spirit with greater intention. This message is not for everyone. It's for the few who feel the pull of something higher, something heavier, something holier. What I'm about to share with you are 7 sacred truths every chosen soul must keep private, not to hide out of fear, but to protect with wisdom. Because if you reveal these truths before their appointed time, you may find yourself spiritually disarmed. So take this as both a revelation and a shield. If your heart is beating a little louder, if your spirit is stirred, then this message was always meant to find you. And before we begin, I invite you to seal this moment. Leave a comment below, not for attention, but for alignment. Speak the agreement aloud, even in silence. Let the spiritual realm bear witness. I receive this word. I will guard what is mine. I am ready. Now come. Let us begin. Some truths are not meant to be spoken aloud. They are meant to be carried, cradled, guarded like fire in cupped hands, shielding the flame from the wind. As one of the chosen, you have likely experienced moments of profound clarity, revelations that didn't come from books or sermons, but from deep within your spirit. These moments are not accidents. They are divine deposits, sacred blueprints whispered into your soul by a voice not everyone can hear. But here is the danger. In your longing to connect, to help, to share light with others, you may have spoken too soon. You may have placed holy things in unprepared hands. And when that happens, the wisdom you carry is not just rejected, it is mocked, distorted, and in some cases, weaponized against you. Jesus himself warned of this very thing when he said in Matthew 7-6, "Do not give what is holy to dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces." This is not a warning of pride, it is a warning of protection, because sacred things lose their weight when placed before those who have no eyes to see them. Your insight is not for entertainment, it is not for debate. It is revelation, and revelation comes with responsibility. The prophets of old were often told to seal up their visions until the appointed time. Why? Because the truth, when shared prematurely, can cause more harm than good. You must begin treating your spiritual insight as treasure, not in arrogance, but in reverence. Not everyone is meant to know what you know not yet, and not because they're less, but because their hearts are not ready to receive it. Some will dismiss you, others will twist your words. And there are even those who, out of envy or confusion, will try to silence your voice entirely. So learn this sacred discipline, discernment before disclosure. Speak only when the Spirit nudges you. Share only when peace precedes it. Until then, write it down, pray over it. Let it grow strong in the quiet place where the voice of God first gave it to you. Your wisdom is not lost when it is kept in silence. In fact, that is often where it becomes most powerful. Even the strongest souls have tender places. Being chosen does not make you immune to pain. It makes you more open to it. The deeper your calling, the deeper your capacity to feel. You experience life through a wider lens. Pain cuts deeper, silence feels louder, and betrayal wounds your spirit in ways others may never comprehend. But here's the sacred truth. Your vulnerability is holy, and like anything holy, it must be protected. Too often, the chosen mistake transparency for trust. You open up too quickly, too widely, hoping to find refuge in another's understanding, only to discover that what you revealed is now being used as a weapon. The very wounds you shared in hope become exposed in mockery. This is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to guard what is tender. There are people who are drawn to your light not to walk with you, but to feed off you. They appear compassionate, but they are collectors of weakness. They seek not to comfort, but to consume. They are emotional parasites, and your pain is their opportunity. That is why vulnerability must be sacred, not public. Even Jesus, in his most anguished moment, withdrew to the Garden of Gethsemane with only a few disciples. He could have cried in front of the crowd, but he chose a quiet place, and even then, among those closest to him. It is written in Luke 22:41-42, and he withdrew from them about a stone's throw and knelt down and prayed, saying, "Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done." Even the Son of God guarded his sorrow, and so should you. This does not mean hiding your humanity. It means choosing who is allowed to witness it. Vulnerability is not for performance. It is a gift, and only a few have earned the right to hold it gently. Find your safe spaces, a trusted friend, a journal, a moment in prayer. Let your soul exhale in places where it will not be pierced. Test every spirit. Observe how someone responds when you say, "I'm not okay." Not everyone who smiles is safe. Not everyone who listens knows how to hold a burden. Your vulnerability is not weakness. It is the doorway to deep healing, but only when it's protected. You don't owe anyone access to your inner sanctum. If they have not proven they will guard it, do not invite them in. Let your broken moments be wrapped in reverence, not exposure. Your energy is your lifeline. It is the invisible force that flows from your spirit into the world, shaping how you show up, how you love, and how you lead. And as a chosen one, your energy doesn't just exist, it radiates. You've probably felt it. How people are drawn to you, how strangers confide in you, how your presence seems to shift the air in the room. This is not your imagination, it's a spiritual reality. The light within you is real, and the world feels it, even if it can't explain it. But here's the danger. When your energy goes unprotected, it becomes available to everyone, even to those who come not to nurture it, but to drain it. There are people and forces that are attracted to your light, not because they cherish it, but because they want to consume it. They carry chaos, and your peace unsettles them. They carry darkness, and your presence exposes what they've been hiding. So instead of rising, they reach to pull you down. You must learn to listen to your inner alarms. The feeling of heaviness after certain conversations. The exhaustion that follows after helping someone who only takes, never gives. The subtle tension in your chest around people who smile but carry resentment underneath. These are not mood swings. These are signals. In Proverbs 4:23, we are warned. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And what flows from the heart is your energy. When you do not guard it, everything else begins to unravel. Guarding your energy is not selfish. It is sacred. You cannot pour endlessly without replenishing. You cannot help the wounded if you yourself are bleeding. You cannot shine if your flame is constantly being stolen. So, here is your call. Learn to say no. Learn to step away. Learn to disconnect without guilt. Reserve your presence for places that value it. Speak when you're full, not when you're desperate. and surround yourself with people who fill your spirit, not just your calendar. Even Jesus withdrew from the crowds not because he didn't love them, but because he understood that even the Son of God needed solitude. He knew that to stay powerful, he had to stay connected not to the noise, but to the source. You are no different. Let silence be your recovery. Let solitude be your strength. Let your boundaries be firm and your peace be non-negotiable. Your energy is the breath of your calling. Without it, your light dims. With it, your purpose expands. There is something about you that lingers. You don't just enter a room, you shift it. You may have noticed how conversations pause when you walk in, how people glance your way without knowing why, how tension breaks when you speak, or intensifies when you say nothing at all. This is not ego, this is not imagination. This is spiritual weight, and it comes from your calling. Your presence is not loud, but it is luminous, not aggressive but undeniable. It is the quiet authority of someone who has walked through fire and come out glowing. And because your presence holds light, it also becomes a mirror, and mirrors make people uncomfortable. Some will be drawn to you for the right reasons. Others will resent you without cause, and many won't know why they feel uneasy around you, only that something in them recoils when you stand in your truth. As a chosen one, you must understand this. Your presence is not for everyone, and it was never meant to be. You carry a divine signature, and what is divine must be treated with reverence. Too often, we place ourselves in spaces that do not honor who we are, hoping to be accepted, seen, and understood. But you were not born for approval. You were born to represent something higher. And what is higher cannot live among what is shallow without being attacked or diminished. In 2 Corinthians 6:17, Paul writes, "Therefore, come out from among them and be separate, says the Lord. Do not touch what is unclean, and I will receive you." This is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. You don't have to elevate your presence. It already speaks. Your task is to protect where it speaks, when it speaks, and to whom. Choose your rooms with discernment. Some atmospheres welcome you. Others try to mute you. Know the difference. And when you feel your spirit shrinking to make others comfortable, leave. Silence is holy. So is space, and never feel guilty for withdrawing. Even Jesus, at the height of his ministry, often left the crowds to pray alone in the wilderness. He knew what many forget, that presence is power, and power must be recharged in secret. C.S.Lewis once wrote in Letters to Malcolm, chiefly on prayer, "The presence of God is not the same as the sense of his presence, and he may be doing most for us when we think he is doing least." You see, it's not about being constantly seen. It's about being spiritually anchored, even when no one notices, even in silence, especially in silence. You are not here to belong everywhere. You are here to belong to the divine. Let your presence remain sacred. Let it speak when the moment is right. Let it walk where it is honored. Let it rest where it is safe. The world will try to convince you that power is found in volume. To be respected, you must always speak. To be heard, you must always explain. But, as a chosen one, your strength often comes from a different source. Silence is not emptiness. It is present. It is power under control. It is the sacred space where discernment is sharpened and your connection with the divine deepens. In a world obsessed with noise, silence becomes not just a refuge, but a form of spiritual protection. There will be moments when others provoke you, question your faith, your path, your purpose. You will be tempted to respond, to prove, to justify yourself. But not every accusation is worthy of an answer. Not every battle is yours to fight. Even Jesus, in the face of false accusations and injustice, stood silent. As written in Isaiah 53:7, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that is silent before its shearers, so he did not open his mouth. His silence was not weakness, it was wisdom. It was power held back because he knew his purpose did not depend on the approval of men. There is a time to speak, and there is a time to withhold your words. In Ecclesiastes 3-7, we are reminded, there is a time to keep silence, and a time to speak. Learning the difference is one of the most important disciplines in the life of the chosen. Silence gives you space to listen to others, yes, but more importantly, to God. It helps you avoid unnecessary entanglements. It keeps you from wasting precious energy defending what only the Spirit can affirm. When you stay silent in the face of noise, you make room for divine wisdom to rise within you. This doesn't mean you never speak, it means you speak with intention. You speak when peace precedes your words. You speak when the Spirit releases you, but until then, let your silence be your shield. You do not have to respond to every opinion. You do not have to explain your calling. The light you carry does not require validation. Let your fruit speak. Let your walk speak. Let your silence preserve your peace. So the next time you are drawn into conflict or pressured to react, pause. Ask yourself, is this a divine appointment or a distraction dressed like urgency? If it does not serve your mission, stay silent and move on. From silence comes discernment. And when you begin to move with wisdom, you realize not everything should be revealed. In the next truth, we'll explore the sacred art of discretion, what to speak, what to keep, and how to protect your journey in a world that watches too closely. In a world obsessed with visibility, discretion has become a lost virtue. We've been taught to share everything, our thoughts, our plans, our emotions, our victories, as if silence means we don't exist. But for the chosen, this kind of exposure is not just unwise, it is dangerous. You were never meant to live like the crowd. You were never meant to announce every step of your spiritual journey to people who cannot comprehend its weight. Not every revelation is meant to be shared. Not every relationship is meant to be public. Not every blessing should be broadcast. Discretion is not secrecy out of fear. It is wisdom in motion. It is the understanding that what is sacred must be protected until it is strong enough to stand in the open. Your spiritual growth is like a seed tender, unfolding, not yet ready for the storm. And if you reveal it too early, you risk letting the winds of envy, doubt, and spiritual warfare uproot what God is trying to build in silence. Proverbs 2:11 says, discretion will protect you, and understanding will guard you. This is not just good advice, it's a shield. Discretion is what keeps the enemy from knowing where to strike. It's what allows your purpose to grow uninterrupted by the noise of opinions, criticism, or misunderstanding. Too many chosen ones expose themselves too soon, revealing divine dreams to carnal minds, sacred struggles to untrustworthy hearts. And what begins in hope ends in disappointment, confusion, or even betrayal. Instead, walk quietly. Let your progress speak for itself. Let your roots go deep before you reveal the fruit. Discretion also applies to your relationships. Some connections are meant to be hidden, protected from public interference. Especially those relationships born of divine alignment, the ones that feed your purpose, not just your emotions. Keep them sacred, keep them private. The deeper the connection, the more it must be shielded. This isn't about isolation, it's about preservation. Jesus often told those he healed, "Tell no one." Not because the miracle didn't matter, but because timing matters. Exposure without spiritual readiness invites unnecessary attack. And just like him, you must know when to move in silence and when to speak in the Spirit. So learn the rhythm of discretion. Let God be the one to reveal you. Until then, walk softly, move purposefully. Let your silence be a veil over what heaven is still preparing. And now, we arrive at the final and most important truth, the one that anchors them all. Without it, none of the others will hold. Let us enter into truth number 7. Maintain your unshakable connection to the divine. This is the truth that holds all the others together. the root from which your power, your protection, your clarity, and your peace all grow. Without it, every boundary you build will collapse. Every secret you keep will feel heavy. Every step you take will lack direction. Your connection to the divine is everything. You were not chosen to walk this world alone. You were chosen because heaven has appointed you to carry something sacred and to carry it with the one who gave it. When that connection is strong, you are unshakable. But when that connection weakens, even the smallest winds feel like storms. This world will pull at you relentlessly. The busyness, the noise, the pressure to perform. Even good things, relationships, service, success, can become distractions if they disconnect you from the voice of God. That's why protecting your intimacy with Him is not a luxury, it is your survival. Jesus Himself understood this. Despite the demands of the crowds, the miracles, the urgency of His mission, He often withdrew to quiet places to pray. Luke 5:16 tells us, "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." If the Son of God needed solitude to stay aligned with the Father, how much more do we? Your time with God does not need to be loud, long, or poetic. It needs to be real, honest, consistent. Sometimes you will speak. Other times you will just sit in stillness. But every time you make space for Him, He fills it. Every time you turn your heart back toward Him, He answers. This connection is your compass when you are confused. It is your shield when you are attacked. It is your restoration when you are weary. It is your reminder when the world forgets who you are that He never has. Stay rooted in the Word. Speak to Him throughout your day. Listen more than you speak. Protect that sacred space like you would protect your own breath. And when you feel far, don't run from Him, run to Him. He has not left you, He never will. As it is written in Romans 8:38, -39, "For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord." This is your anchor. When the enemy whispers lies, when people walk away, when even you doubt your purpose, return to this truth. You are known, loved, and guided by the one who called you. Everything you carry, everything you are, everything you will become flows from this relationship. So, nourish it, prioritize it, fight for it when the world tries to steal your attention, because your connection to the divine isn't just part of your calling, it is your calling. You have now walked through 7 sacred truths, not just ideas, but spiritual principles that were always meant to guide the life of the chosen ones. If there's one truth that echoes through this entire message, it's this. Being chosen does not mean being loud, it means being set apart. It means walking quietly with wisdom while the world rushes blindly with noise. It means learning to protect what God has entrusted to you, your insight, your presence, your energy, your intimacy with Him, because they are not common. They are divine assignments, and divine things must be guarded. In an age of constant exposure, it is your discretion that will shield your purpose. In a world addicted to speaking, it is your silence that will preserve your peace. And in a culture that runs from solitude, it is your intimacy with God that will anchor your soul. These 7 truths are not merely protective strategies, they are spiritual armor. They are the quiet disciplines that will keep your calling intact when the enemy seeks to distract, diminish, or destroy it. To be chosen means to be trusted, and to be trusted by God is no small thing. As C.S.Lewis so beautifully wrote in Mere Christianity, the more we let God take us over, the more truly ourselves we become because He made us. He invented all the different people that you and I were intended to be. The more you abide in Him, the more you return to your truest self, the one He imagined before the noise, before the pain, before the world told you to be someone else. So, let me ask you now, which of these truths have you been neglecting? Where have you shared too much, too soon? And what would your life look like if you committed today to guarding what heaven planted in you? I invite you to reflect and comment below. Which truth resonated most deeply with you? Where do you feel called to tighten your spiritual boundaries and walk in greater discernment? Let your voice speak agreement not just for yourself, but for every chosen one walking this quiet road beside you. And finally, let us seal this moment with prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for choosing us not because we are worthy, but because you are faithful. Thank you for the quiet strength that comes through solitude, silence, and surrender. Teach us to protect what you have entrusted to us. Give us wisdom to walk in silence, courage to set boundaries, and discernment to stay aligned with your spirit. Where there is weariness, bring rest. Where there is confusion, bring clarity. Where there is fear, bring the peace that surpasses all understanding. We entrust every chosen one listening now into your hands. May they walk in bold humility, sacred reverence, and unshakable trust. In Jesus' Name, Amen.